Intermittent reinforcement is a powerful psychological tool that can influence behavior, but its effects can vary depending on individual factors. While many people are susceptible to intermittent reinforcement, not everyone will respond to it in the same way. Proneness to intermittent reinforcement. 1. General susceptibility. Most people are susceptible to intermittent reinforcement due to how it taps into fundamental psychological mechanisms. The unpredictability of rewards can create a strong emotional and behavioral response, making it difficult for individuals to resist or break away from a behavior, relationship, or habit reinforced in this manner. 2. Percentage of people affected. There isn't a precise percentage of people who are susceptible to intermittent reinforcement, but research and observations suggest that a significant majority of people can be affected by it to varying degrees. The exact susceptibility can depend on the context, the nature of the rewards, and the individual's psychological profile. Factors influencing susceptibility. 1. Personality traits. High sensitivity to reward. People who are highly motivated by rewards or who have a strong sensitivity to positive reinforcement, often linked to higher dopamine activity in the brain, are more likely to be influenced by intermittent reinforcement. Impulsivity. Individuals with higher levels of impulsivity may be more prone to seeking out rewards, even when they are inconsistent. They may find it harder to resist the lure of potential rewards, making them more vulnerable to intermittent reinforcement. Low self-esteem. Those with low self-esteem may be more susceptible because they might rely more on external validation and rewards to feel good about themselves. The occasional positive reinforcement can create a strong attachment or dependency, even if it's irregular. 2. Cognitive factors. Optimism bias. Some people have an optimism bias where they believe that things will improve in the future. This bias can make them more susceptible to intermittent reinforcement because they keep hoping for the next positive outcome, even if it's unlikely. Attachment styles. People with anxious attachment styles are more prone to seeking reassurance and validation, making them more vulnerable to intermittent reinforcement. They may become overly focused on the potential for positive outcomes, even when those outcomes are infrequent. 3. Environmental factors. Cultural influences. In some cultures where perseverance and patience are highly valued, individuals may be more likely to persist in situations where rewards are intermittent, believing that their efforts will eventually pay off. Past experiences. People who have had past experiences where intermittent reinforcement led to positive outcomes may be more likely to fall into the same pattern again, expecting similar results. Who is less prone to intermittent reinforcement? 1. High self-esteem and self-confidence. Individuals with high self-esteem and self-confidence are generally less reliant on external validation. They are more likely to set boundaries and remove themselves from situations where rewards are inconsistent or unsatisfying. They are less likely to be affected by intermittent reinforcement because they do not depend as much on sporadic positive reinforcement to feel good about themselves. 2. Strong emotional regulation. People who are good at regulating their emotions are less likely to be swayed by the emotional highs and lows that intermittent reinforcement can create. They can recognize when a situation is unhealthy or unproductive and take steps to distance themselves from it. 3. Logical and rational thinkers. Individuals who tend to approach situations logically and rationally rather than emotionally are more likely to recognize the patterns of intermittent reinforcement and avoid falling into its trap. They may evaluate the cost-benefit ratio of continuing a behavior and decide to stop if the rewards are too infrequent. 4. Secure attachment style. People with a secure attachment style are generally more comfortable with consistent and healthy relationships. They are less likely to tolerate relationships where positive reinforcement is intermittent because they expect and seek out stability and consistency in their interactions. Conclusion: while many people are vulnerable to intermittent reinforcement, the degree of susceptibility varies widely based on personality traits, emotional states, cognitive factors, and environmental influences. Understanding these factors can help individuals recognize when they are being influenced by intermittent reinforcement and take steps to protect themselves from its potentially harmful effects. Not everyone is equally at risk, and those with high self-esteem, strong emotional regulation, logical thinking, and secure attachment styles are generally less prone to being affected by intermittent reinforcement.